There's a threat in the world today. A threat to our way of living, a threat to our society, and maybe even a threat to our very existence. And what is this threat?
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
He is the one.
I am.
I am the ass.
He is.
And we are Black and White Sports.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we in here talking about practice.
How am I not found the best fighter in the world? You tell me. Because you're retired?
I mean, I want to see your face when you're asking this question and the way you're going to ask it. Look a man in the eye before you try to kill him or make up something.
He went through my soul.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
What is going on, BW Sports One World? This is the one right there. I am the ass right here. This is Black and White Sports, powered by First Financial Bank, 3535 East 96th Street in Indianapolis, and our Rockstar Realtor, Shawn Nugent, 317-503-8322. Shawn Nugent, the Rockstar Realtor. Damon, what is going on, sir?
I am just a bill, bro.
You are just a bill.
I'm just a bill.
Well, we are. We can go ahead and welcome in our guests. We have a special guest tonight. We are talking to the Missouri Southern State University head football coach, Jeff Sims.
Go Lions.
Go Lions, Jeff. Welcome, and thank you again for coming on with us, sir.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So let's give a little quick bio of you, your personal experiences growing up around football or whatever else you did, where you're from. Let the viewers and the listeners know, and then, we'll see where that leads.
Well, I grew up in St. Louis, and, my mom's a hairdresser, and we grew up in North County. It's not the best area of St. Louis, and because God blessed me with the ability to catch up football, it opened up some doors for me, and I was able to go to the University of Tulsa and play football there, and I ended up getting my master's degree from Baker University, which is in Kansas. And like everybody, I had a dream of playing professional football, but you kind of run out of real estate after a while and realize that when you put in that much effort, that if you put it into your career, you might have a better opportunity for long-term success. So I had some good coaches in my life that really helped me, and so I asked them if coaching, and so I got into a job at Maryville High School, which is in the north west area of Missouri. And I coached there and got my first college coaching job at Central Missouri, and then went to Baker and got my master's degree. And while I was at Baker, my head coach afforded me the opportunity to recruit California. And so I recruited California and went through a junior college there called Mount San Antonio Junior College, or Mount SAC, and made some connections there. And about 2 years later, I was at the coaching convention, and they were advertising for a receiver coach, and I applied for the job and got it. And that's really where my career kind of started getting some traction. And the reason is any profession, if it's coaching, if it's radio broadcasting, if it's business, real estate, you're about as good as your connections. I always tell our players that it's you need to know what you're supposed to do professionally, but you need somebody to believe in you. And so, you got to make those networks. And at Mount SAC, I was able to make connections. And when I started having success at Mount SAC, it started leading into better opportunities. And, those better opportunities were head coaching positions. And I've been the head coach at 4 different places, and 3 of them we went undefeated at. And now at Missouri Southern, we're trying to turn it around and build this into a national championship program. And we feel like we've really laid a good foundation. And now we're working through the challenges of 2020. And no matter what those challenges are, we met on Friday, and everything's really up in the air. We're scheduled to play right now, but as we all know, things are changing pretty rapidly. I've told our players, some of our players, I try to explain to them, I go, they may cancel the season, but they're not canceling football. We're going to play again. So whenever that next game is, if it's in this September or next September, we're going to be prepared, and we're going to have a plan to do what we need to do today to be prepared for that day. So we're still working really hard, and we'll be ready when they allow us to play again.
Well, stand on that track. How confident you are at the Division II level that you guys will get a season in. I'm not really sure what your fan base is, with how many students or fans are at your games, unlike the large amounts that are at the Division I level. I know that's a big concern with them. How much of that is a concern with you, and again, what is your percentage, what you think that you will get a season in this year?
Well, to be honest with you, I know about as much as you do, and the reason is I'm not in these conversations. These conversations these days are being dictated by governors and college presidents, and what I've tried to tell our players is, at this time, to be a great leader, sometimes you got to be a great follower. So, every day we're getting up like we're playing in September, and we'll do that every day. But when our leadership tells us what we're going to do, that's what we'll do. Now, my personal opinions is you can just watch what's going around you. I mean, if 80,000 seat stadiums are only going to have 15,000 people in them, then I don't know what 15,000 seat stadiums are going to have in them. And so, I don't know that anybody's listening to my opinion on this, but just watching the tea leaves and stuff is, if we play, I almost be surprised if we had any fans. But I'm not the expert, and the reality is I want to play. And the reason I want to play has very little to do with the game. It has to do with the impact of the game. I just don't know how, being at home and being social distance and those things are beneficial to young people, and we need to get together. We need to get to go to school, and we need to get to be in our activities. That these are not selfish activities in the sense that we're wanting to do them because we want to play a sport. We're wanting to do them because we create relationships and networks and memories that right now it just doesn't feel like we're making the right type of memories. And so I hope we can work through this stuff and we can find a way that we can play.
Well, gonna staying with this again. How are you preparing right now for the season? I know that you guys are very limited on what you can do with physically, obviously, together and all that. So how are you preparing your team for a possible first game in September?
Well, and I agree with you that we are limited, but there has been a little bit of a change this year in Division II football. Typically, you're not allowed to coach your players during the summer. It's against the rules. It's actually one of the more limiting rules in all of college football. High school coaches have more contact than Division II coaches do during the summer. But this year, because we didn't have spring ball, the NCAA said that we could have voluntary practices. So we don't wear helmets or pads or anything like that, but our players, if they sign a voluntary waiver and want to attend and stuff, are able to attend practices. So we're lifting and running and having 7-on-7 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and we've had great participation in that this summer.
Yeah, staying on the field type questions. All right, so I'm more on the basketball side. I just finished watching some tournaments here in Indy of my daughter's AAU team. And so I'm watching how they have these things structured. And I come to find out about an hour ago, they're moving 2 national tournaments from 2 different states here to Indy because we're capable and have been holding serve, so to speak, on the rise of the COVID. I think that basketball, they have a little bit more of a play with, but I'm more interested in to see how they work the football. You know what I mean? Because I know, you sweat and all that kind of stuff on basketball, but football seems to be just a little bit more just a little bit more grimier, so to speak, less, for less of a better word. I'm anxious to see how that works with all the social distancing. You know what I mean? Like, are they going to limit it number of players for travel, even though they do break it down to just conference play? Are they going to limit the number of travel where it's not like 110 guys on the sideline? It's more like 45. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you asked me what my thoughts are, and the best word I could give you is confusion, because, and I mean that sincerely, is all the things you're saying are right. Football's physical. We sweat. We're a lot more there's a lot more contact. I don't know what to believe when it comes to this COVID deal. If I've read article after article after article, and then our actions seem to be totally different than the information that I'm given. I mean, you talk about your daughter. Your daughter's playing basketball, AAU basketball. My daughter's playing travel softball. Well, these kids are playing more than our college kids are. And everything I read, I've read multiple studies, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. I'm just saying what I read, that you can't get COVID outside. That outside is very hard for it to transmit. That if it's going to transmit, you have to be within 6 feet of people, and you have to, I mean, I just don't. Everything I read is that our young people are safe, and that the odds of getting it are not high, and that as I said, I want to be supportive of what our leaders choose to do, and because right now we need to figure out how to get through these types of things, but some of the things don't add up. When this COVID thing started, we were talking about deaths. Now all they're talking about is cases. The cases keep going up. Well, if we test more people, of course, more people are going to have it. And I just don't. I want to be loyal and supportive and all those things. But the more I read, every time I read, the age group that we coach and that we teach, they're going to be fine. Now they may catch a cold. All right. But unless you're older or have compromised immune system, you're going to be fine. So I would think we could be able to play and we could do the things. But I'm not a doctor, so I'm very hesitant to say we should do this, because I'm not doing the studies. I don't know, but I would tell you as a athlete that, I'm not worried about catching a cold. It's not.
I mean, you're at most of these athletes, from all the way down to, 11, 12 years old up to, the college kids, they've been playing. They're at the peak of their health. You know what I'm saying? Their immune system is at the top. It's young, it's vibrant, plus they're active. So even if they do get a little cold, it's not going to be something that really, really, punches them in the gut. So they might be a little unpleasant like the flu would be, but I think they'll be all right. But what I'm most concerned about, kind of the things that I've seen over the weekend, over the past 2 weeks, each facility has been regulated differently.
Right.
You walk into one, they're not requiring you to wear a mask, and they're 6 feet distancing you, but people violate that and they get all in it and no one really says anything. Then they got places where, they stagger your time, all the people out, next group in, after sanitary and things, they try to take care of. But the thing that I don't get is you have them walk into the facility wearing the mask, everybody's working the mask, but then you let them get on the court or on the field and then play. I mean, what's the difference?
Right.
Confusion, like you said.
So it goes back to your confusion.
Right. I just feel like we should be given the information and then decide what we want to do. I mean, I don't understand why you got to wear a mask and be 6 feet apart. If I'm wearing a mask, do I have to be 6 feet from you, or shouldn't it be I have to be 6 feet from you if I'm not wearing a mask? I don't understand. And I just, there's a lot of illnesses and risks in life, and I think they should just be giving us the information, and we should be deciding what we want to do with that information. I just don't want to sit up in the house, and stuff. I want to live my life and be healthy. And I just think I just see, you asked me about our summer. I just see how valuable it is when these students are around each other and doing positive things. When they're not, it's just, this is their opportunity, and life's meant to be lived. And, but again, I'll be supportive of what, our school, our state, and our government ask us to do, but I feel like there's a lot of confusion right now, and I believe there's lack of leadership. In my opinion, I don't think there's a lot of people making decisions. They're waiting for other people to make decisions, and they're going to follow those people.
Yep.
I agree. All right, well, let's turn this away from the COVID as of right now. Let's talk a little bit about your program, man. So you've been at Missouri Southern for, this will be your second year, and
yeah, we're going on our second year.
That I just saw, like, man, you're a good coach, bro. And I mean, the one thing that I noticed before we get into some of the on the field stuff, like you were talking about when these kids get together and they do positive things. One thing I see here is that your team recorded its highest GPA in more than 7 years.
Right. Well, that's cool of you to notice that. And, I do believe winning's a habit. I believe that what you do one thing, you do all things. And so, we're trying to help our players create winning habits. And as I said, my success in life, you complimented, you said that you're a good coach, and I appreciate you saying that. But that's because I had good coaches, and that's the truth. I learned from those men and stole things that they did or taught me. It gave me the opportunity to coach these guys. And so I've been doing this. Will be my 13th year as a head coach. It's my 26th year coaching. And so what I do with this team, I've learned from players, Paul and Levante David and Mike Hughes and those types of people. And we do have a high team GPA, and that's because when we come in, one of the things that we establish in our program is an academic success center. We have academic support for our team. And I believe that your players play harder for you if you show them that you care about them off the field. So, we really work hard. When I was that age, if you'd have told me I had to write an 8-page English paper or go out and fight 5 inches, I'd rather fight 5 inches. It's just not something that I'm willing to do. So, these guys say they're competitive. They say they'll play in football, they'll play in basketball, they'll play in video games. But if you tell them, hey, let's challenge each other in a math test, so the reality is you guys have no idea how good a football player 20 plus years since I played. But every time you speak, you're going to improve your education. So we're trying to trick these guys into an education through football. We use their passion for the game to get them an education that helps us be better football players.
Nice. I mean, yeah, I don't want to cut into Damon's time here, but he's sitting there. I'm just joking with you, Damon. I'm looking at some of the accomplishments from just over the year, and these numbers are phenomenal. Single game record with 5 passing touchdowns. The MIAA, 42 first downs. Stuff like that.
That's the one I like. That's ball control right there.
That's total. That's nothing.
Down.
That's ball.
That's
ball control. Total dominant.
That was the problem and stuff like that. The goal is to win a national championship. We've played for 4 national titles. And, every year you're in a program, you're trying to lay a foundation. We have a quote in our program: to build a great wall, you have to lay each brick perfectly. And so we're trying to do things every day we're trying to help these guys develop, their game and their lives so that they can be the best they can be. And it's fun to be part of the coaching process. And it's a really awesome opportunity to be with these young people at this point in their life.
Yeah. So kind of going a little bit back, and we were talking about preparation for the season this year, but you've been involved in different levels of coaching from, obviously before high school to college level. What are the differences and the similarities on both hands here? Similarities and differences in coaching the different levels?
That's a really good question. I don't get asked that one a lot, but I think I have a good answer for it. I've been a head coach first at high school level.
Hey, Jeff, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you, but your volume's cutting out real bad.
Well, I was wondering that you're having a little bit of trouble here, but that was.
Okay. There you go.
So,
I think you're good now.
Can you hear me better? I'm getting that close-up shot.
There you go. There you go. We like the close-up.
So the answer I like to give is my first coaching job ever was at Pasadena High School. Not first job, but my first head coaching job. And and then I've been a college head coach, and so I've been asked, what's the difference between coaching college and high school? What I like to say is when you're in high school, you should make every decision on what's best for the individual. When young people make mistakes, when you're developing your program, sometimes it's important to keep that young person involved in the program so they can learn and develop and mature as a young man. When you get in college, one thing that I really try to work with parents on is that when your son goes to college, he's a man now. I have a 19-year-old son and a 17-year-old son, and both of them are in the Army. I don't get to call their drill instructor and talk to him about, he's not having a good day. It's their job to learn the skills it takes to be successful in life. Mm-hmm. And, when you've done this for 26 years, you have hundreds of guys who went through your program. So, you've proven that if you do things the right way, good things will happen. So in high school, the program should always do what's best for the individual. In college, the program should always do what's best for the program. And as a man, to fit into the organization. At the high school level, I believe football is there to develop individuals.
Yeah, I like it. You said you had coached a total of 26 years total of different positions and places in head coaching. How many athletes have you affected that has made it to the top level, has played pro ball?
Well, we have a saying in our program, ain't bragging if it's true. So you asked. 56 NFL football players have made $221 million.
Nice.
Wow. I like it.
I mean, the most famous ones, Jason Pierre-Paul played for me. Levante David played for me. First-round draft pick of the Minnesota Vikings. Mike Hughes played for me. Stanley Jean-Baptiste was a second-round draft pick of the Detroit Lions. My most recent big-time draft pick, Lonnie Johnson, was a second-round draft pick for the Houston Texans. He's from Gary, Indiana. Then Rayshawn Wilborn, who's from Michigan. He's just the Atlanta Falcons. And when I was the recruiting coordinator for Indiana, that I got to know both of those guys. And I've been very successful because I'll be honest with you, I believe that great coaches are made by great players. We don't win our games because I draw the greatest play. All right. I was taught as a player. I had a college coach named Carl Bowser, who's in Junior College Hall of Fame. He used to say, we'll tell them the play we're going to run, and we're still going to run it. Mm-hmm. And the reality is if I have, you're a basketball guy. So if I have the Kobe Bryants and the Michael Jordans, it really don't matter what I run. So, I feel like I like coaching. I like finding young men who have talent, and I like helping them organize their life and organize their academics. And then they go on the field and they play great for me. It's not that I play and trick anybody or anything like that. I just believe that I have very talented, hardworking players and that believe in our system, and that's why we're having success.
That's right. I always like the saying, what is it? Talent wins game. Talent might win games, but teamwork and hard work or something, an effort wins championships. Yeah, help me out there, David.
Spit it out.
Don't just laugh at me.
It's the Jimmys and the Joes, not the X's and the O's.
There you go. See, I can remember that a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is let's see. So you got anything else for him, Dan?
No, yes, I do.
Oh,
okay.
I do got one. Go ahead.
Damon, I'll let you go first.
Oh, well, mine's a little difficult because I'm not really I didn't get to talk to you earlier to know what we can talk about, what we can't talk about, but not to get too political because I don't want to ruffle any feathers or anything like that. But you being in Southern Missouri, it's a little hotbed, for social justice right now. Have you had any concerns with that when it comes with the communication with your team, your program, and your university?
Well, that's a good question, and when you talk about COVID and playing football this year and stuff, I think that's the elephant in the room. Also, is that I may go out and I read these articles that say that COVID won't affect young people and it's safe outside and this and that. But I would tell you that parents aren't as trusting right now as they have been in the past because of the things going on in the world. And in 26 years, I've never remembered a year like this year when checking players in and things like that. There was a difference when normally when parents are dropping their sons off, they're sad because that they're going away and they're not going to be at home anymore. But I would tell you that you can see it in some of the mothers' eyes that, in more in our African American young men is that you can see they're nervous. It's not. I don't believe it's that they're coming to play at our university. I think it's they're scared to send their sons off into the world right now because it's such an interesting dynamic right now, and it's one of the reasons that I believe we need to be playing football. We need to be, and it's not just football. Activities. We need, the three of us sitting here talking. We need to be people and communicate and interact and learn from each other. And if it's football, if it's fraternities, if it's the business club, we need to be interacting. And when we're not interacting, then we get nervous and fearful and stuff. And but yeah, we're all dealing with those things. The biggest thing that I've addressed to my players is this, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I believe a lot of the people that are protesting and marching, they're protesting and marching because they feel like they're being oppressed or they're not getting the opportunities that are fair. They're not being treated fairly. And while a lot of our players can relate to those people, a lot of our players do have opportunities. So I'm encouraging advantage of those opportunities so that they can help those who don't have the opportunities. We need to take advantage of our education. We need to take advantage of football opening up the door to get the education, because it's awesome to use your freedom of speech. It's awesome to use your voice, but if you can get into the system and become a doctor, a lawyer, a politician, I think it's a lot easier to fix things inside the program than it would be outside. And so hopefully our guys are able to get their education so that they can make change, that we continually grow and be better as a country. But yeah, I would definitely say there's a fear. There's a fear of being sick these days. There's a fear of conflict with all the different issues going, and I just hope that we can keep working through these things and get to some more positive things for all of us.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. And so I'm going to end this with lightening the conversation up now. So I gotta ask, if you didn't, if you weren't in football, what would be your next sport to go to?
Well, if you ask me if I wasn't in football, what my next would be is I do love baseball. I was a good baseball player in high school, but there's a difference between baseball and football. To me, baseball is a game. You play double headers. You can go 162, and you're like the best team in baseball. So you lost 62 times. All right. In football, you lose a game, you might be out of it. Yeah. To me, football was an event on Friday night, on Saturday. It was all week long. You play your rival one time a year. Every other sport, it's home and homes and things like that. You get one shot. So that's why I liked football. But I love baseball, playing catch and hitting ground balls and doing all those things. I do love baseball, and it's my pastime. I'm a diehard Cardinal fan, and
I kind of figured. That's so unfortunate too.
It's kind of the way I would hit.
Yeah, so you're obviously not happy about the MLB right now and all their shenanigans.
No, let's just play baseball, man.
Yeah. So who's your favorite college team and pro teams growing up as far as football?
Well, okay, so you asked me about sports, and I like baseball. My grandfather played professional baseball in the majors, and he was a Pittsburgh Pirate and a St. Louis Brown, and grew up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. So I'm a diehard Steeler fan. And then you got Steeler. There you go. I'm a diehard Steeler fan, and then when it comes to college, I have so many buddies and friends that coach in college that I don't really root for teams. I root for, the people that are playing. I see you got, a Michigan banner. One of my former coaches coached together, and we had a player that went to Purdue. And so when he went to Purdue, that coach of mine was an Ohio State guy. And I asked him, I said, so when Purdue plays Ohio State, you're going to root for Purdue, right? And he's like, no. He said, I'm going to root for Jeremy. He said, but I'm rooting for Ohio State. I said, you don't know any player on that team. I said, they would probably run over you if you were in the middle of the street. I said, but you're going to root for that jersey over the people you know. So I would tell you that I root for people in football. Now, I am a psycho when it comes to Cardinal baseball team. So, I am a fanatic when it comes to Cardinal baseball. But when it comes to college or pro football, I definitely root for people. I coached with Eddie Brown, who is Antonio Brown's father, and so as a Steeler guy, and so I'm rooting for my guys out there, and it's I'm hoping the Buccaneers do really well this year. They got Tom Brady, and I got a couple guys that play for them that play for me, and so Jason and Levante are both on their team. So I'd love to see the Buccaneers have a good year.
All right. Well, I can't be amongst smart people all the time when it comes to the teams that I like. So no, right. I'm a Reds fan, born and raised Reds fan. So we both have the joined hatred for the Cubs up there in the north. But I think we definitely have a hell of a rivalry between our two teams every year.
I love the organizations, and then you got our general manager a couple years ago, and I think Walt Jockey's one of the reasons we were so good, and so the Reds are a great organization, so baseball's fun, like I say, that's what we missed this summer. It's kind of like an everyday thing. You can live or die every day with your team, and that's what's kind of fun about the summertime.
Yeah. So real quick, I got a story to tell them. So Jeff, when I took the family to St. Louis a couple years ago, and it was actually opening night for the Major League Baseball, but the Cardinals weren't playing in town that night. So we get into town, we go to Mama's on the Hill. It's an Italian restaurant.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I got my Reds hat on, and I'm not thinking anything of it. We sit down. Everybody's staring at me. My wife's looking at me. She's like, "Why is everybody staring at you?" I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what I'm doing." After we order the drinks, the waitress comes back. She goes, "You know why everybody's staring at you?" I'm like, "I would love to know." She goes, "Check your hat." I'm like, "Ah, damn. Yep."
Yep. Let me tell you a quick story. I have some friends, that are Cub fans or Royals fans or whatever. So I don't think they understand it. Look, Nebraska, they love the Cornhuskers. Ohio State, Michigan. In St. Louis, the Cardinals are personal. Like it's a real thing. And so we go to with my friend that's a Royals fan, and there's literally 75 TVs in the sports bar, and every single one of them's on the Cardinal game. And I mean, it's loud, music's going, and the game's on. He leans over the bar and says, "Hey, excuse me, could you turn this one TV on to the Royals game?" Ooh. I swear the music stopped and everybody looked at him and was like, "No."
That's good. That's good.
That's good stuff right there.
That is good. Well, Jeff, we want to thank you again for coming on, taking some time out with us. Appreciate you coming. If you got anything to, shout out to anybody or let anybody know what's going on with the Lions, let them know now.
Well, I appreciate you guys reaching out, and I really do hope that we get to play football this year. But we're going to get back on the field regardless, and the Missouri Southern Lions are going to work hard, every day towards our education and to our goals on the football field. I would tell you, you can see I got a clean cut right now. There's a young man in Webb City named Christian Hetty, number 88 for the Webb City Cardinals, who's battling stage 4 cancer right now, and they have a fundraiser going for him the next couple of weeks, and they had one where if you shaved your head, they donated $250 to the cause. So if you go on our Facebook page, you might be able to help out Christian Hetty, and that's what football is about. It's about being a team and coming together. So I appreciate you guys really having me on the show. It was a blast.
Awesome. We appreciate having you, and we'll make sure we'll get that up, the Facebook link up, so people can see it too. So
go ahead. Awesome, Jeff, message me that link, and we'll put it out.
No doubt. So thank you guys very much.
All right, Jeff. Appreciate
it. Thank you. We wish you the best. So I hope when your season gets going, wish you the best. Hope you go ahead and win your national championship. It'd be awesome.
Well, if I do, get me back on the show, okay?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, you have a good one. Be safe.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I like it. I like it. Well, you know what we're due. That guy right there, he's the one.
Hi.
This guy right here, he's the ass.
I'm just the one bill.
He's just the one bill. This has been Black and White Sports, brought to you, powered by, as always, First Financial Bank, 3535 East 96th Street in Indianapolis, and our Rockstar Realtor himself, Shawn Nugent. Check him out, shawn.nugent at talktotecker.com, or call him 317-503-8322. And as always, Damon, tell them what we do. We keep it.
We keep Indy sporty.
Peace.